Welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast, with your host, Latoya. This podcast was created as a platform for spreading love. On a special edition of Speaking of Love, I will touch with caution the subject of suicide. I personally have been left with the effects of suicide after the tragic passing of my father. Tonight at 8 o'clock p.m., Gabby Bagtas, one of my former students, will speak to us tonight about her best friend who died by suicide. Gabby is open and willing to share her thoughts and experiences on losing Haley, her best friend. Our prayer and intention is that Gabby's journey of strength will make us all more sensitive when it comes to responding to those around us who may be suffering silently. Please join us tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. on Facebook Live. We hope to see you there. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast. This evening, we have a special show lined up. For those of you who are not aware, September is Suicide Awareness Month. And the whole purpose of us being here tonight is to bring awareness to suicide. Suicide affects over 800,000 people globally around the world yearly. So tonight we want to touch on a subject that may be a little too sensitive for some people. It might be very difficult to talk about what we're going to discuss today, but it's very relevant and is very necessary. And we are here today to bring love. We're here today to talk about a very sensitive subject. So we're hoping that you can hang in here with us and be a part of this wonderful togetherness that we have. And Gabrielle Bagtas is one of my former students. She's going to come on tonight to talk about her best friend, Haley, who passed away by suicide. Haley was another one of my students as well. She has a very special place in my heart. And when Haley passed away in 2016, we were all very devastated from her loss. So tonight we're going to talk about suicide awareness, and I'm hoping that you all will enjoy what we have to bring forward. And we have a very important message. So please stay with us. Good evening, Gabby. How are you today?
Hi, Miss Sanders. I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I know you were here on Speaking of Love a couple of months ago, and you talked about all the wonderful and phenomenal things that you've been doing in your life and your career. But today we're going to talk about someone very special to you, and that's Haley, your best friend who completed suicide back in 2016. So Haley, talk to me about Haley and your relationship with her.
Yeah, so Haley came in 5th grade. That was my first year that I started at the school. She came in a little bit later, so I was one of her first friends. There was me and Sage, and we just instantly connected, talked about like One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer and stuff like that. And we would FaceTime like every single weekend, and she really was just my best friend. We talk about anything and everything. She was just like one of the first people that I'd go to if I needed anything. So, yeah.
So how was her demeanor when you first met her? Like, what was her personality like?
Oh my gosh, she's so energetic, and I feel like she's so easy to talk to. She was, as I said, very energetic, and she's very outgoing. We both had a share of, boy bands, but also volleyball. So we both tried out for the volleyball team, and that's where we really started bonding a bit more. So yeah, she was very enthusiastic, especially during the games, and she never gave up on anything.
So was volleyball her passion? Would you say that was one of her passions?
Yes, for sure. Volleyball and music.
Oh my goodness. Now, what instrument did she play, or was it vocal music?
She sang, but she also did some guitar. So like sometimes we'd FaceTime and I'd give her some guitar lessons. So
Now, you know, what I remember most about Haley is I worked in the office. So Haley would always come to me for different things. And she told me, she says, you know, Miss Bond, my birthday is tomorrow. And she says, my mom passed away a long time ago. And my mom would always make macaroni and cheese for me on my birthday. And I won't have that. And tomorrow's my birthday. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I remember saying to Haley, oh, don't worry about it, Haley. You know, you'll still have fun. So I went home that night and I made macaroni and cheese for Haley. And I brought it to school the next day and I took it to the cafeteria during her lunchtime. And she was so excited about this macaroni and cheese. And she actually brought me the empty bowl and she's like, "Here, I can't wash it out, but thank you anyway."
Oh.
So that's one of my fond memories of Haley. So, did she exhibit any warning signs that she was suicidal before this happened?
So what happened was that she moved to Alabama like the year after seventh grade, so we didn't talk as much as we used to when she moved eighth grade year. But when we were talking, she did seem a little distant, and there were a lot of problems that she told me about. It wasn't really direct signs of suicide, but I knew that there was something wrong and something was bothering her. It is kind of hard to tell if someone is suicidal. Like there are so many signs, but sometimes it's not clear, and you can't really get into someone's head about it. Um, so I tried my best
Hmm.
to, calm her down and help her resolve these situations, but I guess I never saw the signs as clear that she was suicidal.
Yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of times you don't see the warning signs. You don't see the symptoms of a person who may be chronically depressed. I know for my father, he used humor as a way to mask and cover his pain. And I remember Haley being someone who used humor a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times you may think that a person is being comical and that, oh, they have a great sense of humor, but sometimes it can be a way to mask pain. Do you sense that she was masking any pain in her life?
I think for sure she was masking a lot of pain in her life, especially her mom died when she was really, really young. So she didn't really have much of a mother figure there. And I think that was a big burden that she had to carry throughout her life. And stuff with like her dad, I don't really want to get into it, but just like a lot of family situations that she definitely was masking up, and she would always try to hide it with a smile. And just that was one thing that she was never really open about to a lot of people was just like the bad things that was going around in her life and just feeling like it's not important to really talk about.
Yeah. And I know too, for teenagers, a lot of times they go through depression, and depression will convince you that you don't matter.
Right.
Being depressed can convince you that the people around you don't care about you. And what depression doesn't tell you is that that's not true. And even though a person can be stuck in a depression and feeling a little under the weather emotionally, a person sometimes coming along to tell them, "You're okay, I love you, you matter," they won't hear it because sometimes they're so stuck in the midst of the depression that they can't hear the love and they can't feel the love. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, definitely. It's a very complex subject matter, and tonight we want to touch on it because we don't ever want anyone to feel the pain of losing someone that we love. And Gabby, when you found out that Haley had taken her life, what were your thoughts? How did you feel?
I was just shocked. So the way that I found out was that my friend texted me and she was just like, Haley's dead. And I was like, what? Someone posted about it, about like her funeral and stuff. But I was just shocked. I think it was a Saturday morning or something. And I was just eating breakfast. And then my mom was sitting with me and I just began sobbing. Like, it's so hard losing someone so young. Especially Haley. She had so much going on in her life that she was going to succeed in, and I just knew she would be successful in the future. So it just really shocked me, and I think it was one of the biggest like deaths, I guess. Like, of course, like there's relatives and stuff, but someone that close to you, it's so hard to realize that they're gone forever. And like it's not like they just moved away, but they're actually gone, and you can't talk to them anymore.
Yes, it was very difficult for us at the school when this happened. I know we all came together, and you're actually wearing one of the shirts tonight. We had those t shirts made in her honor, and we had a fundraiser. We did a lot to honor her memory because so many children were impacted by losing Haley. Haley was very much loved, but for whatever reason, we couldn't reach her or she didn't feel the love that we had inside for her. Did you and Haley ever talk about the love that you had for each other, or was it an unspoken love?
I think we definitely told each other that we loved each other, but I think most of the time it was unspoken, and it was more through like, like spending time together was more of our um, way of showing our love to each other.
Mm-hmm. You know, you being here tonight, Gabby, you have opened your heart and you're bearing an open wound for us to help someone else. And we appreciate that. That is such a selfless act, what you're doing here tonight. And I truly appreciate you for opening up your heart and bearing your burden and letting us know that suicide is not the way. If you could have a chance to speak to Haley tonight, what would you say to her?
So many things. I think just the number one thing was that you are enough. You're worth every single inch or ounce of your body, and that you are loved, and there are so many people that care about you. Never think that you're a burden, and just you're my best friend, and I care about you so much.
Mhm. And you matter.
Yeah.
And I know she loved you too. She really did. And she left behind her dad. Now, did she have any siblings? I don't remember.
No, she was an only child.
She was the only child.
Hmm.
Okay. So I understand that over the past few years that she's been gone, you've done a few things to honor and keep her memory alive. What are some of the things that you've done, Gabby?
So I actually got a tattoo for her. It says fireproof. I don't know if it's backwards, but there's a halo on the eye. Fireproof
No.
was our favorite One Direction song together. So I wanted to get that, and just also the word fireproof is so powerful that like, you went through all of this, but like you're still here, that you're still strong and you're still going. So, but it's always that reminder that Haley's with me.
Yeah, she is definitely always with us. And my hope and prayer tonight is that if anyone watching has been touched by suicide, or if you're feeling like you don't want to be here anymore, please know that you matter, you are important. And if you leave this earth, you're going to leave behind a trail of pain because the people who love you will be left to bear the loss of losing you. How did you bear the loss of losing Haley when she passed away? How did you go forward? Where did your strength come from?
It was definitely very difficult. I definitely spent like a whole week just not talking to anyone. It was something that just really shocked me, and it was very heartbreaking. I had a lot of friends that would take me out to dinner and stuff and pray with me and just try to get my mind off of it and just remind me that like she's still gonna be with me, um, and that she's in a better place now. And also just like my parents comforting me and my siblings is always the best. I also one of the biggest priorities to me is my religion, which is Christianity. So I take faith very seriously. So like I'd be praying every single day and asking God for a sign that she's okay. And she actually came to me in a dream, like a month after she passed away. And she came up to my door, and just she was smiling, and she was like, I'm happy. I'm good now. Like I'm with
Oh,
my mom. And
oh my
I
God.
remember waking up sobbing.
Oh wow, that is so touching. I have chills just hearing that. Oh my goodness. Gabby, I have a question.
Yes.
If you have a person in your life and they come to you and they tell you that they're feeling suicidal, they're withdrawn, what words of advice would you give them? How would you help someone who's dealing with suicidal thoughts?
I definitely think that's a hard situation to think about. Of course, look for a professional, someone that can really help you out with that. Suicide hotlines are always good to talk to, but also having those people that you're close to, so like your friends and your family, just someone that you can talk to about, to reassure you that like you are loved and you're wanted, and just reasons why you shouldn't leave this earth, because there's so much that you're going to miss out on
Yes.
when you do. So.
Yes, yes. I know we had the black and white shirts made and the angel represented the halo for Haley. And I tell you, I still wear my shirt to this day, and you're wearing yours today. Can you stand up and kind of, oh, there it is. And that was her jersey number 10.
Yeah, she was number 10.
She was number 10. And I believe we retired that number at some point after her passing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, I totally remember that. Yes. So, Gabby, I understand that you have written a song and you'd like to dedicate it to the memory of Haley. Is that something that you want to do here today?
Yes. So
Oh,
the song is called Lost Without You. Um,
aw.
so I wrote it after having a conversation with her. Conversation. It was mostly just talking to the ceiling, but it was like maybe a few weeks ago. Yeah, it was the beginning of August, and I just had a conversation with her, updating her on my life now that I'm in college, just telling her about all the stuff that she's missed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about becoming strong without her and how my journey's been after losing her.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to have you sing that song for us, Gabby, before we go. But right now, we're going to talk about the warning signs of a person who may be contemplating suicide.
Mhm.
So, the first warning sign is talking about wanting to die or wanting to kill them oneself. Sometimes we have people in our lives who will say, well, the world would be a better place without me. Why am I alive? I just want to kill myself. That's a statement that we should never take lightly. We should always investigate a situation where a person is speaking on along those lines. Would you agree?
Yes, for sure.
Yes, definitely. The next step is people looking for a way to take their own life. People searching information on the internet, reading books, watching movies that involve suicide. You have to be careful for that as well. Feelings of hopelessness. A lot of times people feel hopeless. They feel like they have no purpose. Why was I ever born? All of those are warning signs of suicide. A person feeling trapped or being unable to bear life, ready to give up. They talk about being a burden to others. Those are some of the warning signs. And then, two, we can go more in depth into it. Some people begin to drink more alcohol, do more alcohol related crimes, driving drunk, doing drugs, sleeping a lot. That can be another sign of depression. Withdrawal is definitely the one of the number one signs, and extreme mood swings can be signs of suicidal thoughts as well. So if you experience any of those symptoms, that's listening right now or watching, just know that tomorrow is a new day, and whatever you're going through right now, it's not going to last forever. And if you reach out, talk to someone, you can get help. And just think about the trail of pain you will leave behind if you take your life. We need you here. You're better served. You're better off here than you are not here, if you know what I mean in the literal sense. So, Gabby, I want you to go ahead and sing this beautiful song that you have dedicated to the memory of your best friend Haley, who took her own life in 2016, and she's left a lot of people to bear the pain of losing her. So take it away, my girl.
Thank you. Okay. I am sick of falling. No one to go to. Why is it continuing? It's like I am a burden. It's like you're the only one who can save me. I'm so lost without you. I'm so lost without you. I'm not feeling well inside. No one to call my name, I can't survive. I'm stuck alive with or without you. It's just that this battle's hard to go through. I'm getting strong without you. I'm getting strong without you. And I know I can't just take it back. And time was all we ever had. That's so sad. But when you're gone, who'll take care of the mess and all? So when you're gone, I'll be crashing and falling. Why did you leave me? Where are you going? Can I go back and save you? You were my only friend. I didn't mean it when I said I hated you. Can I take it back? 'Cause I really need you. When your life ended, mine just continued. I'm so lost without you, so lost without you. I'm so lost without you. I'm so lost without you. And I can't be afraid. I've got my armor and shield to guide me. No one can stop me. Yeah, I know it's heavy, but when you're gone, I'll be crashing and falling. Why did you leave me? Where are you going? Can I go back and save you? You were my only friend. I didn't mean it when I said I hated you. Can I take it back? 'Cause I really need you. When your life ended, mine just continued. So lost without you, I'm so lost without you. I'm so lost without you. I'm so lost without you. I'm so lost without you.
Beautiful, Gabby. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Gabby. That's absolutely beautiful. And I honestly can relate to what you're saying in your words, the lyrics to your song, being lost without the person, because the purpose of this podcast was created because my father committed suicide on March 2nd of this year. And my father was a radio TV broadcast engineer. And many years ago, he had a radio show called Speaking of Sports. And so, to honor his memory, I created this podcast called Speaking of Love. And you can see his picture right up above us here. And this show is dedicated to him. And the lyrics of your song remind me of how I feel losing my dad to suicide. I feel lost. A lot of days I do. I feel really lost without him. But what you have done with your music, what I have done with my podcast, what we are doing is we have found a way to repurpose our pain by standing forward and letting people know that suicide is a temporary solution. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Because if you end your life today, you don't know what could be in store for you tomorrow. The Bible says that joy comes in the morning. And that means that there's going to be a rebirth. Every night we go to sleep, we wake up the next day, and we're reborn. There's a new day. So you never know what can come the new day. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yes, and if only whatever Haley was going through at that time in her life, if she had just stayed awake for one more day, it could have been a better day. And so I hope that by you opening up your heart today and sharing your experience with our audience, I'm praying that if there's anyone listening or watching who has had thoughts of ending their life, that maybe we could help them tonight by showing them that it's not the answer. You matter. You are here for a divine purpose. And it may not seem that way right now, but you're here. And when you start to feel depressed, I'm speaking to the audience. If you start to feel like you don't want to be here anymore, I heard something on the show one time where the guy said to stop, breathe. Breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 8 seconds. Do it 30 times, and it'll lower your stress level, your panic, your anxiety, your moment of pain. You deserve to be here. You are valuable. You are worthy. You matter. You matter to all of us. You matter to me. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and we need you here on this earth. So please, if you're having thoughts of suicide, please call 1-800-273-TALK. That's the suicide awareness line. It's 1-800-273-TALK, and they can help you. You matter. And if you don't want to call them, you can send me a private message and I'll talk to you. I can help you get to the other side. Isn't that right, Gabby?
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have helped when at MMSA, for sure.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, we're here. That's what we're put on this earth for, is to help each other. And that's what we're doing here tonight. We're helping people know that they matter and they are here on this earth for a divine purpose. I believe that Haley had a divine purpose. Do you?
I do for sure. As like meeting her, being an outgoing person, I think she was here to make other people happy and just to spread her love and joy to everyone else.
Yes, and that she did. Is there any other fond memories that you would like to share with us about your beautiful friend Haley?
She was just a sister to me. And my mom loved her as well. I don't know. There's just a lot of different memories. I remember when we won championships 7th grade, or I don't remember. I think it was 7th grade year. I like we grabbed the trophy, and she was the first person I hugged. And I have a picture of that. I have to ask my mom for it, but I still have the picture of us hugging when we won one of the playoffs, I think.
Wonderful. Do you have any final words of encouragement for our audience before we go?
Just keep breathing. The next day is going to be another day, and you're almost there. Again, the next day is going to be a better day, and you're worth it. You are wanted, and you're loved, and you're cared about. So, yeah.
You know what helps me, Gabby, when I have a moment of sadness? I like to listen to good music. And I'm telling you, if you're feeling down and out, put on a song that you like and turn it up as loud as you can. Trust me, this works. Turn it up as loud as you can, and it's going to take a minute for it to really get inside of you, but just listen to that song and I guarantee you, by the second set of lyrics, you're going to feel totally different. Music has a fourth dimensional quality, and it releases the soul from imprisonment, and it can make impossible things seem possible. So listening to music is definitely a good coping mechanism for depression, for bad days. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. What also has helped me is like planning my days out or like making a bucket list because it really does like make you like be prepared for something or have something to look forward to in the future. So like you really don't want to miss out on that. But also, yes, music really just wants to make you jump up and dance, you know? Like you
Yes.
can't stop it.
And your music that you have written is so beautiful, Gabby, and it's very emotive. It brings out emotions that you may not feel at the moment, but it's like as soon as you start to sing and the melody comes from your voice, I always get chills and then I start to cry. You know, like the first time you were on my show, I cried like a baby. I'm like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And it lingered on for like 20 minutes after the show was over. I was still crying. So your music is phenomenal, and I thank you for bringing it forward today. I thank you for continuing to honor Haley's memory. And I know whenever I cook macaroni and cheese, I always think about her now. I always do. So I thank you for being here. And for our audience, that I'm talking directly to you all now. I want you to know that no matter what your burden is, no matter what you're going through in your life, Cast your burdens onto the Lord and talk to someone. We all have someone in our life that we can talk to. Let them know what you're feeling. There's such a negative stigma behind suicide and behind depression. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. And I also want to give advice to people who may be confronted with someone who's feeling suicidal or who's maybe feeling a little under the weather. Never judge them. If a person comes to you and they say, well, I'm tired of living, I'm having a rough time, don't respond to them in a way that's critical or judging. For example, you may say, you're not thinking about killing yourself, are you? Are you are you thinking like that? You can't approach a person like that. The first thing you need to do is put yourself in their situation. Would you want to be ridiculed? Would you want to be judged? A lot of times people who are suicidal, they're not in their right mind. The logical mind is not there. They're in a whole different state of mind. So don't be critical, don't be judgmental. Go to them with love. Try to help them. And again, that number is 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-TALK. And you are not alone. You matter. You are magnificent. You are loving. You are kind. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. We need you on this earth. We don't want people like you to go. So please stay. Thank you for being here, Gabby, and I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we